Hello. So today we're going to talk more about connecting with spirit and understanding your spirit guides, how to meet your spirit guides, who they are, and how they help. And there are different types of guides, and there are different ways of connecting with spirit. So we're going to dive into all of that and understand who your guides are, how they communicate with you, and the different roles that they can play along the way. What are a spirit guide or spirit guides? There's various forms of them. Basically, it's a non-physical entity that is either assigned to help you or is already connected to you prior to you like coming into this incarnation. So they can be like family members that have passed over. They can be like your ancestors. They may be close in passing. So like our ancestors can be people who passed over a long time ago. They're in our bloodline. Like they may be so far back that they're like a totally different way of looking and being, way back. But then we can also have ancestors that pass over very recently. Like when my mother passed over, she became a guide of mine. I know she did. I can tell she did. And it's gotten a stronger connection, even just down to when she was on her deathbed. She was like, I'm going to come back as a cardinal. And when I got home that day, she came back as a cardinal. The cardinal was here, and the cardinal didn't leave, hasn't left. He's always here doing weird ass shit. Like, seriously, goes in and out of my car windows all the time. Like, beats the mirror up on the side of the window all the time. It's weird. And it was not here. Did not do that prior to her passing. Our ancestors can be close ancestors and long lost ancestors, and I also believe that they can be ancestors from other lives, so they may not even have any like of the same lineage as you. They may be a different skin color, they may have different languages, and I do believe that it can be vast, because we are vast. We are multidimensional beings. So your guardian angels are beings that are like assigned to you at birth. I feel like for myself, it was Archangel Michael, even though I never went to church, never had anybody teach me anything about archangels or angels or guardian this or that. The closest thing I think I ever heard about any of that stuff as a kid was like the tooth fairy, But growing up, when I would be scared at like 3 a.m., I would call on Archangel Michael. So you may have somebody like that that's kind of just assigned to you through your frequency. I also believe that Archangel Michael is connected to the Blu-ray souls, and I very strongly resonate with Blu-ray soul energy. There's indigo souls, Blu-ray souls. There's a whole series on here that talks about those guys more, but I do feel like Archangel Michael connects with them, which makes sense because Archangel Michael is always coming through with blue. Then like Archangel Raphael, he comes through with a lot of green. So if you're somebody that like really resonates with the color green, or you've got a green aura, you may be a natural healer. You may be more resonant with that type of guide of Archangel Raphael. That's just one of them, right? And again, it doesn't have to be an archangel that is assigned to you. Your guides, your guardian angel is just somebody that has been assigned to protect you. And it could be a myriad of the various guides that are out there. And until you place a name to them, you may not realize it. Until you grow your relationship with them, you may not realize it. But they're most likely there, trying to help you. Then there's ascended masters. So the ascended masters are enlightened beings that have lived here before and passed over. And they are those who are more so like Buddha, Jesus, Kuan Yin, Dwal Kual. There's a lot of them throughout the years of me learning like new paradigm and angel communication and just going to different things like the seven rays, the Chohans. Those are ascended masters. If you go look up the ascended masters, you're going to find that there's a lot of them. I think I have an ascended master deck. And so right there's 44 of them in that deck alone. But there's a various amount of them. And they're all people that have lived on earth and ascended to a higher consciousness. They have Christ consciousness. They embody that energy. They help us with our spiritual growth. Then there's animal totems. And those basically are animal spirits that embody different energy. And I feel like they usually show up like for me anyways, I see animals all the time. I see birds all the time. I see like tonight there was a moth in here. There's all different types of bugs and things that I see all the time in animals that bring messages. But there's also supposedly like a main totem for you, for your spirit, for your soul, that resonates with who you are. It's going to embody certain qualities. And again, I feel like that can resonate and change over the years. So you may be like, when you're a little kid, really resonate with a certain, type of animal, and that's like the totem that's with you. Think of like something that's more hyper and fast and quick-witted and crazy. And then as you get older and you slow down and you become more mature, it may resonate with something different. And I don't think it would take away from the fact that those ones are still connected to you. I think it can just shift over years. I really feel like the animal ones shift a lot. I think it also depends on your belief system, because I know there's people out there who are heavily into like, oh no, you only have one totem, we're gonna make like a big totem, like that's your thing forever. But those are other kinds of guides that can help you. How they communicate with you, we've talked about already within this series, through our intuition. That is the like main way of us knowing, our gut feeling. Like we just kind of get a sense that like something's happening. But there's also through dreams. So when you go to sleep at night, if you don't remember your dreams, start to journal, get a dream journal, see if you can start to remember your dreams, put a cup of water beside the bed and be like, hey, yo, this cup of water is going to like collect all my dreams tonight. When I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to drink it and I'm going to remember those dreams, and start being more conscious of it. They even say things like writing with a blue pen can help you to remember more of your dreams. I feel like it's the belief system. If I think I could tell you anything and it's like, oh, this does this. And if you think that, it's more likely to happen. So stop telling yourself that I don't remember my dreams, I can't remember my dreams, because then you're not going to remember your dreams. You can remember your dreams if you keep telling yourself that I'm remembering them, I can remember them, I'm getting better at remember them, I'm remembering more of them. Then through signs and synchronicity. So again, we've talked about this with like the repetitive numbers or the symbols or events that are sticking out to you. This is again connected to your intuition though, because we see numbers all day long, right? We see animals all day long. We see things in our dreams all the time, but there's only certain things that seem significant to us, It's like, that's weird. That's weird. That's weird. When you feel that that's weird, that's the indication that there's some sort of sign, some sort of synchronicity that's connected there. The number doesn't even have to be a repetitive number. But if you are seeing repetitive numbers, those are usually like a gateway in. And I always tell people to just Google like the spiritual meaning of that number, whether it's a 111 or a 717 or some random number. Just Google it and you will get a basic like meaning of it. And then I feel like it's up to you to expand upon it. What's going on inside of you at the time of seeing that number? What do you feel like it's connected to? Because I find that most people who are asking these types of questions already have the answer inside of them, but they want someone outside of them to like be like, yes, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, yeah, I knew it. But they don't want to say it themselves. They don't want to trust themselves. They want someone on the external to validate them. And that's not going to strengthen your connection to spirit. You need to be able to validate your own intuition through practice and through, doing that stuff on a regular. And doing it for others can help you to be like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. So if other people are around you and you see that they're having a lot of synchronicities, they're having a lot of numbers, they're seeing a certain animal all the time, tell them what you think it means. Because you probably have like something inside of you. And if you don't have something inside of you, like when it comes to numbers, I think it can grow based on what you know, right? Like if you just grew up with numbers, it's like, all right, like I think for a lot of us, like 1 is like single, 2 is like double, 3 is like triple. But when you get out of that, you go and look into numerology and the meaning of numbers. You can be like, oh, so like 1 represents this, 2s represent that, 4s represent this. Then if you go into the tarot and you look at the tarot and all the meanings and stuff in there that connect to numbers, that's going to expand your awareness connected to numbers and being like, oh, like, yeah. And then you'll start to feel the frequency surrounding the numbers the more you fine tune yourself. So you'll be like, oh, okay, 5s are maybe a this or maybe a that. Depending on where you see it, what you're feeling and what you're thinking about and what it's connected to, it can really influence what that meaning is. But that is another way that our guides communicate with us, is through signs and synchronicity. You may have events that pop up that are like reminding you of something, or they like you keep seeing things in your feed, or you keep seeing things happening in the world that really stick out to you, and that's usually a sign for you to pay attention to that for some reason. It's something that's catching your attention. It may even be something that's like, hey, you should take this medicine, or like this supplement, or you should buy this type of thing, or you should get this type of, like, crystal. It can be anything, but if you keep seeing something repetitively over and over and over, it's usually a sign that that's for you. Your inner voice is, again, a gentle voice that will communicate with you, and a lot of times it will feel like otherworldly, or like it's like more than what you know. You may have like a wise, download of information. It doesn't have to be an outside voice. It's your voice, but it's like, I wouldn't have thought that, or you wouldn't expected you to think that. But as you grow with spirit, I feel like you will start to realize, like, you have a lot of wisdom inside of you, that it is your own wisdom that you're tapping into, and you're helping yourself on so many dimensions and levels around you. I feel like your spirit guides, these ancestors, they're just other versions of yourself, and it's a mirror of the frequency or the energy that you're rippling out currently that is coming back towards you. And I feel like that's why our spirit guides shift, and that's why our animal totems shift. I feel like that's why the numbers start to shift. And it's like, once you get the message connected to something, they start giving you another one. It's like 444, 444, 444. And once you learn that lesson, or you figure that thing out, it's like, okay, 111, 111, 111, until you get the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Another way to connect with your guides is through meditation. You can basically do visualization or just guided meditation. There are guided meditations out there that will help you to connect with your guides, like specifically be like, look it up, guided meditation to connect to your guides, or sit silently in meditation and visualize yourself connecting with your guides. I usually like to go through a relaxation part where it's like, okay, I'm going to relax every part of my body. I'm not going to hold on to any tension or stress. I'm not going to hold on to any expectations. I'm going to allow myself to completely relax, and then allow myself to drift to wherever I feel guided to go. Sometimes it's up into the stars. Sometimes it's just into like a healing chamber. Sometimes it's just where I am, and you can have the guides come to you in that moment. But however it feels right to you. And I would recommend listening to other people's guided meditations to see what makes sense or what resonates for you in the ways that they're doing it. Like, oh, I like what that person said, but not what that person says. Or I like this part of what this person did and this part of what this person did. So I'm going to combine those two things together for my guided meditation, or for my visualization practice, for when I'm trying to connect with spirit. Becoming more aware of presence and paying more attention to how you're feeling in the moment, and when spirit is communicating with you. A lot of times we kind of get that, like, it can catch us off guard, or we can have chills, or we can feel like, goosebumps. The hairs on the back of our head can stand up, or we start having glitches on the screen, or again, it's just like, it can be very subtle or it can be very intense depending on the severity or the level of connection and how you connect. Because for me, I'm clair-knowing. So a lot of times it's like, I just know that they're there, and I'm like, okay, I feel it, I know it. I also feel a lot. But then there's people out there who are more so feelers. So they may be like, oh, I feel spirits here. They may not know it, but they feel it. And then there's other people who have to close their eyes and see it through their mind's eye. And other people who may just have it like come about through a scent. All of a sudden they smell roses, or they smell some sort of scent that's not connected to where they are. It doesn't make any sense to be there, but it's letting them know that spirit is around them. And there's various ways. Sometimes we hear sounds or ringing in our ears. There's many different ways that these things can come about, but just being aware of the ways that they come about to you can help you to become more connected to your guides. So the role of your spirit guides is to bring you guidance and protection, and they help us to navigate life's challenges. So when we are going through difficulties, they may be like, okay, let me show them the things that they need to see to help them get through this. And then again, it can be as simple as like, this type of crystal is going to help you to get through this, or the message connected to this number is going to help you to get the insight that you need to know connected to this. Or I'm going to keep throwing these readings on your feed until you pay attention to what the message is saying. Because sometimes we don't want to get the memo. Sometimes we want to brush it by. Sometimes we want to ignore what we know. Like, oh, I don't want to hear that, so I'm just going to poop poop, or I'm just going to pretend that that's not what that is. Even when we look up things, right? Like, oh, what's the meaning of like the fucking skunk, right? And say that you, like, I don't even know, but like you keep seeing the skunk everywhere you go. Skunk, skunk, skunk. I'm smelling skunk. Something probably stinks in your life. You know, somebody's not doing right, or you doing something that's not right. But if you don't want to hear that, you're gonna like scan until you find the message that's like, oh, happiness and joy. So you need to also be authentic and real with yourself. But that is what they're there to do, is to like give you some insights and help you to get through the challenges so that you don't keep going through challenges. And believe me, I know, because sometimes I'm just like, I have clear knowing. I know, but I'd rather pretend like I don't know, or make up 1,000 other reasons why I don't know what they're trying to tell me. And then they can also help us with our growth, assisting in our spiritual development and helping us to just learn our lessons and evolve. You know, that's their mission, that's their purpose, and they're going to use all the means that are available to help us to do that. They can also be helpful for emotional support, as a comforting presence when we're going through difficulties, when we're feeling depressed, or that we just need love, reassurance, and healing energy. And again, that may be where like your ancestors come in more, or the angels come in more. It just depends. Even animal spirits can come in more. You may even have an actual animal show up in your life at some point because you really need it at that time to give you the support that you're going to need to get through whatever you're going through at that time. You know, like a dog or a cat or any type of animal may show up on your path to save you. And it may be like, oh, I got to save this little animal, but in reality, the animal's saving you. And how to connect with your spirit guides, again, is through intention. We want to just set our intention and figure out like what's the best way for us to do this. Ask for signs, you know, ask for signs from your guides. A lot of times I tell people to do something like, you know, if you want a clear indication of this or that, tell spirit that you want to see something that like you know is very unlikely to see. Don't say it out loud, because your phone's always listening to you, so they'll start showing you ads. I'm pretty sure they're in our brains too at this point, but it's very unlikely. Like if you're like, all right, if I'm supposed to do this, or so and so is supposed to be significant, or I'm supposed to go here, please start showing me blue dinosaurs. I want to see blue dinosaurs at least 3 or 4 times before I make my decision. And then just let it go and see if you start seeing blue dinosaurs. And it could be anything. It could be pink dolphins, blue dinosaurs, whatever. It could be something that you know isn't so, like you're not already seeing it on a regular basis. It's something random. It's not going to just, because if you want something to be like the truth, right? Like, oh, that's the thing I want it to be, so I'm going to choose something that I know is on my feed every day. That's not a good thing to do, because that's not going to be an authentic thing. So do it in that way, where it's like something random. And then again, with meditation, coming up with a thing every day to go into meditation, just to set that intention of like, I am going to sit here, I'm going to connect here. And it could be like, you can visualize yourself, or you can actually spend time outside, or you can spend time in a certain area, or connect with a certain totem like that you have, or certain like thing that you have. Like if you have a crystal, or you have a necklace, or you have a bracelet, it's like every time I put this bracelet on, I'm connecting to the spirit of my ancestors. I want to strengthen the connection to my ancestors. You can also create an altar, you know, or somewhere that it doesn't have to be huge. It can be like, my first altar was atop of a little tiny like portable heater thing. And then windowsills can work as that, or a fireplace sill can work as that. But basically putting things out like an offering, which can be very simple. It can be a picture of your ancestors. It could be incense that you're offering to your ancestors. And you'll get better at it as you go. Like, you don't have to know everything. It's just the intention. Like, this crystal is here to represent my ancestors, you know, connected to this or connected to that. Feminine, masculine, ancestors who I want to help support me and protect me or help guide me in this new direction. Also, again, the intention of like, every time I put this bracelet on, it's going to help me to connect with my decks so that I can deliver messages better for myself and others. Or every time I go into meditation and I visualize that I'm going to this tree that's roots are so deep, and the branches reach out so high. I know I'm deeply connected to my past, my ancestors, and I'm deeply connected to my ascended masters and guides. And I allow myself that energy to flow all around me and protect me and guide me. And then just trust what comes to mind or what comes to you in those moments of meditation, or throughout the day after doing those meditations. It's most likely going to get stronger the more that you do it, and it's going to help you to communicate with them. Another way is journaling. You can keep a journal and record any messages, signs, feelings, things that you receive. Whether I used to do synchronicity journals, which got really like daunting because synchronicity is nonstop for me. So it was like, okay, I just saw 1111, and then I went over here and it was 1111 there, and then I went over there and it was 111, and so then it was bop and a boop, and then I went here and my total was 1111, and then I left there and I looked down and I only had 111 things on my gas mileage, and then I looked at the thing on the clock, and my boyfriend put it to 111 a.m. on the radio, and it was just nonstop. So it was too much for me. But you can do like the big significant things. That is too much, because that is my day, man. Like seriously, every fucking thing I do is I can't keep track of it. But you can keep track of the big things, the significant things, and that will actually help you to get that more like insanity, like computer level that I live in. There's a lot of myths and like ideas surrounding this too. Like a lot of people think like you have to be special in order to have a guide or to connect to them or to understand them. It's not the truth. I'm not fucking special, man. If you told me I could connect to my guides 13 years ago, I would have been like, no, I can't. Now I know I can, and I was nobody special. I'm still nobody special, but anybody can do it. It's not hard. It's just the idea of thinking that it's hard, or that you have to be special, or that like you have to be like a monk or a nun or live some holy divine life. You don't have to do all of those things. You just have to set intention and be aware and heighten your senses. You know, like it's not that big of a deal, but we make a big deal of it. It can become second nature if you allow it to. Everybody has spirit guides, so don't feel like you don't. They're all there. You have an animal guides, like they're there for you. It's you telling yourself that you don't, or you don't know where they are, you don't. It's that negative bullshit that will keep you from doing it. So many people do that to themselves, and it's frustrating, because like it's like, dude, just shut up. If you just shut up, you would know. You'd be good. You'd be happy. Everything would be all right. But no, you gotta be like, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. It don't work. I'm not good. Okay, that will keep you from them. They're still there, but they're also gonna probably want to slap you in the face. They're gonna be like, don't even bother with her or him. They're stupid right now. Just give them a few more years. I think sometimes it also takes maturity, or like slowing down in life, or like not distracting yourself, or coming off of drugs, or having like a major crisis, or having a family member pass, that can like propel us further into realizing like, oh, spirit is all around us. Or I even want to add more time and energy into connecting to spirit, because now my mother's not here in the physical world. I have no choice but to connect with her in the energetic world. Or like, you know, I've had a major significant change in the way that I'm being or who's around me. That can also help you to be more connected to spirit, and want to connect more with spirit, because it's like we're looking for support when we go through major obstacles and changes in our life. Make sure that you come up with a little daily ritual or little daily affirmation to connect with your guides regularly. Like start speaking it regularly, like, I am divinely connected and divinely guided. I am open and receptive to working with my ancestors, my guides, my archangels. I'm open and connected to the animal messengers, to the synchronicity that is available to me daily. You know, and make sure that you are checking in every day. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn out process. It can be a few minutes. It can be right when you wake up, before you get out of bed, or even when you're going pee in the morning, just like, okay, today is going to be the day that I'm going to be open and receptive to all the messages that spirit wants to give to me, so that I can have a good, easy day, and so that I don't guide myself into somewhere I should not be going. Help me to strengthen my intuition. Help me to know what the right thing to do is. Make it simple, but make it, you know, regular. And then listening through your intuition, paying attention to the subtle ways that these things show up, is also going to help you to get better and better at this. And then just trust the process, and know that it's going to take time to build your relationship. You know, it'll get better and stronger over time. And yeah, that's basically how you're going to do it. So let me know, is there anything that you have happen in your life day to day that you see a lot of signs and synchronicities? Or have you ever had like a clear indication that spirit was communicating to you, and what was going on there? Because when you think about those things and you tell me about those things, that's going to rekindle it in your mind and your energy, and it's going to help you to start being like more aware of that, or attracting that again, if it's been like sporadically. And if you have it happening on a regular basis, let me know how, like, what is your thing? Are you seeing numbers all the time? Are you seeing animals all the time? Is there a certain message that's been like recurring for you right now? Is there messages that you feel like you're missing? Like what am I missing? What's the big picture here that I'm not getting? And yeah, Please like, comment, and subscribe. The Patreon has launched if you want to join me over there. I'm very grateful for those of you who have joined me. We have, I think, 6 new members now. But yeah, I am very grateful for you guys, and I will see you again for the next one of these. In Mune, namaste.